Welcome to the Joyce Stadium on a lovely spring evening for FA Youth Cup semi-final action between Manchester City and Blackburn Rovers. The home side looking to reach an 8th final in the last 12 seasons across what's been a remarkable amount of consistency in this competition, up against a Blackburn team seeking their own slice of history. They haven't been in a final since 2012, and they've won this competition just once, way back in 1959. Alongside me, Michael McCann, tonight, I'm delighted to say, is a man who's certainly part of the rich tapestry of history in this competition, led Chelsea to winning it twice in 2017 and 18, as well as once upon a time as a whippersnapper 17-year-old, being the club's youngest ever player. A very good evening to Jody Morris.
Good evening, Michael. Yeah, lucky enough to have visited this stadium at some pretty pivotal stages of the competition and managed to come out on the right end of a couple of battles, but looking forward to tonight. Should be good.
Let's have a quick check on the teams. Both sides have made some alterations to quarter-final successes. Manchester City bringing in Teddy Lamb for Xavier Parker in the number 9 role, and Oliver Tevenon comes in for Marlo Barrett at centre-back. It is a side that will be in a 4-3-3 possession-based model that is used right through the club's systems. And it will be interesting to see how that matches up against Blackburn, because Manchester City might have won 7-3 at home and 5-0 away in the 2 league encounters this season. But this Blackburn team is reinforced by 5 players who've come down from that under-21s group. Blackburn making one change from the side that beat Burnley in their quarter-final. Finlay Wilkinson comes in at right back for Theo Pitt. Manchester City, of course, seeing off Everton to get here. They've had different runs in terms of how they've got through to the semi-final. It's something we've been chatting about a little bit, Jody. It's fair to say that Manchester City have had the tougher side of the draw. They've beaten Fulham at home, Arsenal at home, Chelsea away. I know you won't thank me for reminding you of that. And then Everton at home. Blackburn, meanwhile, have had to play away 3 times in a row, though. They've beaten Sheffield United, Coventry City and Swansea on the road before beating their arch-rivals Burnley in the quarters.
Yeah, certainly different paths to this semi-final, but both, I imagine, with equal merit, because, I mean, you look at Manchester City as an academy and the amount of times they've made this stage of the competition in most recent history. You'd expect them to go to those types of places like Fulham, Arsenal, Chelsea, even Everton, that those are all 4 extremely strong academies. I was going to say lucky enough to be at the Chelsea game live, and I saw a performance from a Manchester City side there that not only dominated in possession of the ball, but they dominated from a physical aspect and a character aspect as well. I was really disappointed with the performance from Chelsea, but more along the lines of, you've got to give credit to Manchester City. They certainly impressed me that day, and along with not just their individual players, but as a team, they'll be very, very difficult to beat in this competition.
And they're a team on a bit of a revenge mission as well in their own way. They lost the National League final and the Youth Cup final against Aston Villa last season, and Oliver Rice has been talking about the fact that it's a chance to somewhat right those wrongs. Harrison Miles, in the build-up to this one, has said that players like him who were part of that journey last season have been impressing on the first-year scholars, that you don't want to deal with that pain and disappointment. As for Blackburn, there is a sense of being not burdened by as much of a sense of expectation at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right on that. An academy like Manchester City should be fighting on all fronts in every competition. Their talent goes so deep. They're able to call on under-16 players that would maybe be playing regularly in other youth teams, but because of the quality that Manchester City have, they might have to wait their turn a little bit. And you're right about that with Blackburn. They're lucky enough to call on 4 players from the under-21 side, and it's like their manager was saying pre-game, it's important for these players to play on these big stages, albeit they're not used to playing in the under-18s regularly, because like most top players, I think that benefits them, that whenever you're playing, it's good for you to be playing above your age group or testing or challenging yourself. But coming down to the under-18s against Man City will certainly be a challenge.
And it's interesting you mentioned Paul Butler, because he actually joined Blackburn Rovers in November 2023 as the under-21s number 2. And he very deliberately made the choice at the start of this season to move to being the under-18s head coach, because he wanted to build his experience as a number one. He's worked as a coach in academies right across the country. He's got an almost endless CV. He's been at Fulham, Leeds, Barnet, Derby, Oldham, Doncaster. He's also had a spell in Den Haag in the Netherlands. But it's a big night for him as a head coach in terms of how does he set up this Blackburn Rovers team to not only stop Manchester City, but offer a threat on the counter-attack.
Yeah, and just going to Paul Butler's CV, that's a hell of a CV. As a coach, you always want to try and give yourself a broadened experience, and he certainly has that. And I enjoyed listening to him before the game because he placed emphasis on the competition, but also on the development of players, and that's what comes first and foremost at this level. And interested to hear that he chose to come down to the under-18s, and rightly so. Sometimes what you are as an assistant is totally different to what you would maybe want to be as a head coach, and he's clearly looking at being the head coach.
Yeah, it's interesting. It reminds me of something I was reading in Gareth Southgate's book just a few days ago. He was talking about during his time with England coming through those pathways as himself a coach, but then actually stepping up to that England job, and how important Steve Holland was for him as his number two. Initially just working in England camps outside of his role with Chelsea, and then coming on board full-time. But Southgate talking very specifically about how being a good number two is a totally different role to being a good number one, and that probably also influences what Butler's decided to do there in terms of that experience. There's no doubt about what's at stake, of course, a spot in the final, but also worth saying for those who maybe only occasionally dip into the FA Youth Cup, that the final is not at a neutral venue. The draw has been done, and Manchester City or Blackburn Rovers, if they win this game, will have a home final against the winner of Manchester United versus Crystal Palace, who meet next Friday at Old Trafford. So that is just an extra little bit of incentive for these two, and obviously with Manchester City's double heartbreak against Villa last season, I'm sure Oliver Rice would have been quietly pleased that Palace managed to knock out the holders Villa in the quarter-finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to say that's one of the things about the competition format now that I'm not quite agreeing with. I love the fact that you got to play home and away legs in the final a few years ago, and that just gave you a proper opportunity to really display who was the better team. But let's see how the winner of these being at home is certainly a beneficial move from the FA for these two.
Manchester City versus Blackburn in the first of the two FA Youth Cup semi-finals, with the added incentive of a home final up for grabs for the winner of this one, facing the victors of Manchester United versus Crystal Palace next Friday. Man City with so much history in this competition in recent times, chasing an 8th final in their last 12 appearances. Meanwhile, Blackburn haven't been in a final since 2012, and they've won it just once way back in 1959. Manchester City make 2 changes to the side that won 3-0 here against Everton in the quarter-final. Teddy Lamb comes in that number 9 role in place of the 15-year-old Xavier Parker, who's one heck of an asset to have coming off the bench. Marlo Barrett is unavailable, so Oliver Tevenon comes in at centre-back. Blackburn make one switch from the team that dramatically, thanks to a winner with literally the last kick of the game from Jadon Sargent, beat their arch rivals Burnley 2-1 in front of more than 3,000 at Ewood Park in the quarters. Finley Wilkinson is back from injury to replace Theo Pitt. Wilkinson played in rounds 3 and 4 before a hamstring problem that had put him out in more recent times. A welcome return for him, but apart from that for Blackburn, it is near enough been the same 11 throughout the competition. And as we have already discussed a little bit, Blackburn drawing down on those under-21s players because of very much prioritising the importance of the FA Youth Cup.
Yeah, it's extremely important, and it depends on how early as a coach that you're actually able to bring them down. And it was interesting hearing Paul say before the game that he's had a real good 4 days of training with those players that he's been able to bring down. So that'll be important from a tactical aspect, because I imagine Blackburn will have to be extremely spot on to get past this Manchester City team.
I wonder how much Blackburn might have studied the blueprint that Everton offered them from the quarter-final, because for an hour, that was an extremely tight and competitive contest. And then a penalty that Floyd Samba converted gave Manchester City the lead. Just 5 minutes later, there was a sending off, and after that, Everton fell away somewhat to lose 3-0. But for an hour, not only was the game 0-0, but actually Everton were creating just as good a quality of chances as Manchester City managed, despite having much less of the ball. So it's really important that even if inevitably the home side might have more of the possession, that they're always offering that threat on the break, Blackburn, if they can.
Yeah, that's extremely important. You're used to giving up possession to teams like Manchester City, albeit it was something that I never used to want to do, but sometimes you just have to hold your hands up. But what you do want to do is, when you do have an opportunity to hurt and break against them, you do want to create chances, and that's what Everton done. And you're right, Blackburn will be looking to do something similar.
Manchester City against Blackburn in the first FA Youth Cup semi-final of the 2025-26 season. City runners-up last season, losing to Villa. Looking to go one better this time around. Blackburn looking to reach a final for the first time since 2012. City have had no problems reaching the final in recent times. It would be an 8th in the last 12 seasons. Albeit, I know one ledger they want to correct a little bit is that they've been in 13 FA Youth Cup finals, Manchester City, but they have only won 4 of them. City in sky blue and white, attacking from left to right as we look at things in this first half. Blackburn in their changed all gold strip, kicking from right to left. Great to have your company wherever you are across the world. Jody Morris alongside, someone who knows all about what it takes to both play in and also manage a team to victory in this competition. His Chelsea side having so many battles with particularly Manchester City over the years.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing straight away from this game now is, if you look at where Valentin Joseph is right now, I mean, this could be the setup for the majority of the game, with Blackburn just shuffling side to side, trying to force Manchester City into turning the ball over and hopefully trying to catch them on the break. This is something that City will be extremely familiar with.
Nice pass from Braithwaite, and that opens up the crossing chance. There's a miscue from DeCandia, who would have been very nervous about where that had gone, but luck was on Blackburn's side as it's recycled all the way back to Max Hudson. Blackburn with a chance just to try and press a little higher up the pitch, but that is 3 beautiful passes that open things right up for City again. Floated cross was dealt with by Pates. Nudges it out for City throw, trying to close down Ryan McAdoo, who you'd imagine will have quite the say in this game.
And I enjoyed that bit of movement from Tyrone Samba to get himself free. That's what he does. He finds lovely little pockets, and he found himself in the left side of the pitch just there and putting in a cross, and he links up really well in that left-hand side area with Regan Heskey.
Again, more Manchester City possession. Of course, some of you may remember who watched the quarter-final. Regan Heskey scored a beautiful curler of a goal against Everton with his proud dad, Emil, on commentary with me, as that's clipped in by McAdoo. A little bit too close to Harry Holt.
Yeah, and the game that I was at when Man City demolished Chelsea, Regan Heskey was a massive problem for Chelsea on the left-hand side.
With Hudson, who can try and get Manchester City going. Braithwaite looks left. And again, Manchester City in the very early stages of this one, predominantly focusing up that left flank.
And this is what City always want to do. They've been doing it for years in the academy. They try and take the game away from the opposition by just using the ball and spreading it across the pitch, making the other team work without it, almost like suffocating them and forcing them into switching off from a mental aspect. And even just look how high the centre-halves here from Man City, and it's lucky that they've got 2 good ball-playing centre-halves that can pick passes, because they'll be so high up the pitch here.
McAdoo. Montov, Chelsea, scored against his old team in the 5th round. More than 1,000 watching at Kingsmeadow, most of them, of course, leaving disappointed as City progressed pretty comfortably in the end. Lovely, beautifully worked move again, and there was DeCandia. It's still not away, and it comes off the chest of Lamb. Blackburn under pressure right from the start here.
Yeah, it's another good run there. It was a little underlap from the left-back Drake there. Already on the left-hand side, City looking like they're causing problems, and not only just on the left-hand side, there's, as you said, McAdoo's putting a dangerous cross already. That City are not wasting any time to put pressure on Blackburn here.
I'd say as well, if you pull Butler, the thing that's of as much concern as anything we've just seen is Harry Holt clearing the ball long and immediately losing possession, because trying to make something of the ball when you've got it is part of what gives Rovers some respite from the ball being zipped around so nicely by Manchester City. As McAdoo has managed to keep it in, and McAdoo's cross just about dealt with. Well, one in there by Frank Ver. He was on the bench for a first-team game last season against Preston.
Oh, what a ball.
Crossfield ball. Suddenly Blackburn, who've barely had the ball all game, will just run out of room. Archie McCoy not quite able to get there, but you could hear the purring admiration from Jody Morris alongside me for the quality of the pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlucky, but you're right, Michael. It's a fine line between balancing, trying to hurt the opposition when you do win it back because of the amount of bodies that are committed forward from Man City, to actually then turning the ball over again, knowing that that could be another minute or minute and a half without you touching the ball. It's such a fine line, and it's one that it's hard to get right, to be honest, especially if you're one of the players that are on the pitch, knowing that the game plan is to try and hurt them on the break, but sometimes recognising when you haven't had the ball for so long that you actually need to make some passes to not only get a breather, but to also just stop the attack coming back at you.
It's a psychological reset as much as anything else. Here's Regan Heskey trying to chop in and then out, but was well stopped that time by Ball. Joseph goes to ground. It actually reminds me in a slightly odd way of a game of snooker where you know you're playing against a really good opponent. It just adds a whole other level of pressure when Blackburn get the ball, because almost the equivalent of in that sport stepping up to the table, knowing, well, this is your shot, you better make it good, because if you miss, there's a chance you could be back chasing shadows for a while.
Yeah, I mean, even you can just see here, it's McCoy that's having to defend Regan Heskey. The minute you've got your wide right players that are almost doing a job of a right back because they're so worried about what's going to happen, that automatically tells you that your attacking wide men doing the defensive duties can sometimes lead to not many options when you win it back.
Heavy touch from McAdoo does get Blackburn that chance to build with the ball, so interesting to see what Harry Holt does here. In the quarter-final against Burnley, and indeed often for Blackburn, one plan is to go direct and look for that 6'4" frame of Valentin Joseph. Seems like that's exactly what Holt is doing here, but it's just got too much on it.
And I get the idea of that, Michael. Like, you're going, fair enough, you've got an opportunity for the first time to put some bodies forward, but what you then can't do is overhit the ball to Valentin Joseph, where there's not even an opportunity to flick it on for the second ball.
Oliver Rice watching on. Said in the build-up to this one that last season's disappointment in the final was a bit of extra motivation. He said wanted us to be able to look back on this in 10 years' time and think, what a semi-final, what a final. Want to create memories, and it's always special to be at home, particularly for both the semi-final and the final, as Joseph's offside that time. Joseph, who already has 8 goals in this competition this season, which is a pretty remarkable haul. He scored in all 4 rounds, including scoring 4 in the 8-1 win, I beg your pardon, at Coventry in the 4th round. Here's Heskey. Stopped for now, first corner of the game. Good tackle by Finlay Wilkinson.
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full, Finlay Wilkinson, today. I mean, they seem to be finding Regan Heskey at will at the moment, especially when you've got your left side centre-half, your captain Braithwaite, who can pick a pass with his left foot. He'll be looking to get at him one-on-one. He done very well to defend there, but obviously now leaves them with a corner to defend.
First corner of the match. It's overhit by Heskey. It's just about recovered at that far post, but comes to nothing. Yeah, we are almost 10 minutes in, and I think we're at a point where we can start to say that there's clearly some level of analysis or plan that Manchester City are going to focus attacking down their left and Blackburn's right, because that is where the overwhelming majority of their work so far in attack has come.
Yeah, and I mean, they was actually unlucky a couple of times on the right-hand side where they was nearly able to get McAdoo through. So it's not like they're just focusing on the left-hand side. It's just that a couple of the times when they've tried to find Ryan McAdoo on the right-hand side, it hasn't quite come off. But in fairness to City, they've tried to spread the play really well. But you rightly said, they've done a few good things down the left-hand side already. And I'd be worried if I was the Paul Butler sitting there thinking about me right winger and me right back having to deal with what's going on over there.
Tidy touches by Ver, recycled by Levi Ball and Isaac Dunn. Blackburn's first real attacking platform of the game so far. Pates just slightly lost the momentum in the attack that they had when that midfield trio had it on the edge of the box. Now forced all the way back to Hull.
That's better, though. It's allowing their players to get a feel of the ball in possession.
Pates goes more direct, and Joseph is through. There's no offside flag up. It's still Joseph, and it's 1-0 Blackburn.
That is amazing.
Valentin Joseph out of absolutely nowhere. The top scorer for Blackburn in any Youth Cup campaign strikes once more. It's his 9th on the run this season. And having barely mustered an attack so far, Manchester City are shell-shocked, and it's Blackburn Rovers who are ahead.
Amazing. And do you know where it's come from? I know it's a long, direct ball that's obviously misjudged there from the centre-half, but, I mean, it's a great finish in the end, but it comes from Blackburn actually making 6 or 7 passes first, which Man City then come high up the pitch. OK, they've made a mistake to misjudge the header, but wow, I mean, yeah, and I think it's Drake that misjudges the header. He's obviously got the number 3 on, but he's playing centre-half. He's misjudged the header, and you got to credit Valentin Joseph there with the finish. He's remained cool and calm under pressure, and like he's done in every round, found the back of the net. Yeah, but huge shock compared to what's gone on in the first 11 minutes of this game.
Yeah, Joseph is someone who is truly making a name for himself. It's worth saying as well that that might be his 9th goal on the run. He's also actually won 2 penalties too, so he's been really key throughout this journey for Blackburn. Now we've got a goalkeeper injury, which, for those of you who keep even half an eye on modern football parlance, there's every chance they may in fact be okay, but Harry Holt is down. And it will give both teams a chance to speak with their head coaches. Yeah,
I mean, and it's one of those where, for me, it's very good from Blackburn's point of view that it come off the back of making the first few passes that they've been able to make in the game, which meant Man City went high up the pitch, higher line to make the longer ball, but here we're just seeing his... yeah, it doesn't look too serious. Keepers love a bit of drama anyway, don't they? Look, even the refs having a laugh with him. But yeah, for me, from the Man City's perspective, it's more of an individual mistake where the line, OK, was high, but the misjudged header is what allows Valentin Joseph to go through. You won't want to change too much from Man City perspective. They've been total dominance. But yeah, that just shows you what can happen in football.
One ball over the top, one individual mistake, and against the run of play, it is Blackburn Rovers who have a lead to protect, but here comes Heskey. Manchester City again looking primarily down that left flank.
Yeah, and you could see McCoy doubling up again there with Regan Heskey. They don't want to leave Regan Heskey one-on-one with Finlay Wilkinson too much.
McAdoo across for Headley to put it in, and comes to nothing ultimately, but Manchester City pushing and probing, trying to get Teddy Lamb a bit of service. He scored the third in the quarter-final against Everton.
I think we'll get a lot of that from Headley. He done it extremely well against Chelsea. Got forward, offered a huge threat from right back, and he's very, very quick. Puts in a decent cross there, and he'll be hoping to link up a lot with McAdoo on the right-hand side, because he's certainly an attacking fullback in the Kyle Walker sense.
Yeah, it's quite rare in particularly the modern game at top academies like this that you get a fullback that isn't equally impressive going forward as they are in their defensive duties. McAdoo's header, won by Kelly Quinn. Ball's a bit of a hot potato in midfield, ends up at the feet of Joseph, who scored a vital equaliser inside 2 minutes of the second half when Blackburn were 1-0 down against Burnley in the quarter-final, and he's popped up with a massive goal early on here. Tajon, who, like most wingers, is more interested in leaving his fullback to complete the throw-in, but he's another threat to keep an eye on for Blackburn tonight, Igor Tajon. First team debut last season and a first start at senior level this season in the League Cup against Bradford.
Again, he's Braithwaite's finding Regan Heskey at will whenever he wants. I mean, I know they're coming narrow in midfield, so they're not being able to play through in Man City, but the minute it goes out there, if they can attack quickly, lovely little ball from Heskey.
Floyd Samba decides to shoot. Plenty of power, but too close to Harry Holt. Bit of a warning strike.
Yeah, I think it was Miles. Was it Miles?
Yeah, it was Miles.
But that's what you need to do when you do play it out wide. Can you then pick something up really quickly? So you don't want to wait for McCoy to come and double up with you if you're Regan Heskey.
One by Archie McCoy. Blackburn now have the ball for pretty much the second time in the game, and the first time it ended up in the net. Teddy Lamb almost won it back. Slightly frantic, foot on it from Headley. Now Pates clips one down the line, inviting Tajon to chase. Hudson thought of coming out for a second. Tajon did get it across just in time, and it's out for Blackburn Rovers' first corner of the game, and an injury problem for the home side as well. I think that might...
He'll be all right. Again, another good confidence booster from Blackburn. I think it was Pates again that has played that longer ball. He was pivotal in the goal with the longer ball. He's just played Tajon in, again, high line from Man City, and listen, it's all right having a high line, but you've got to get your distances right, and it was too easy for Tajon to get through towards the defensive third of the Man City team there, and I think that's what they're talking about on the side there. They're certainly very high.
What can Rovers make of their second corner of the game? Towards that far post, needed the intervention from Hudson. It might have been drifting in. Thrown one by Miles, who was a key player in Manchester City's run to the final last season and has started every game under Oliver Rice this season. He was speaking to the club's in-house media team in the build-up to this one, was saying that he was expecting a physical battle from Blackburn. Said if we don't get caught into those situations, we can play our way around it, but they will offer a threat on the counter-attack. He's also talking about just what it would mean to regain the Youth Cup title. Here's Heskey. Works it back. Slight shooting chance, and now the shot comes in. It's over from Miles, and you can see him wringing his hands in frustration. Floyd Samba put it on a plate for him, and by his high standards, he would have expected more of himself.
And you know what? It's the first time we've seen Floyd Samba on the ball really in a high position, and you'd probably want to swap that from being a Miles shot to a Miles pass to Floyd Samba, because he is extremely dangerous from midfielder scoring goals. And even though Miles has been able to get a couple of shots off so far, I think that we might have seen maybe a little bit of a different outcome there if that was Floyd Samba with a shot.
Harrison Miles, who was first developed at Southampton, which is a club that's always consistently produced players over the years. Was there as a 9-year-old before eventually, after 6 years or so on the south coast, swapped that for Manchester City in the summer of 2024.
Yeah, he controls the game really well from midfield. He's a good foil for Floyd Samba. There's that pass again from Braithwaite to Regan Heskey. Doubled up though.
Yeah, mark of respect. As Heskey can't quite find his way out of it. Has managed to keep it though. Crossing towards Lamb, just too much on it.
And those passes sometimes from Braithwaite at the left side centre half that gets punched out to Regan Heskey with good venom and pace. Here we see the longer pass again from Pace. Yeah, he's just misjudged it, Drake. Yeah, do you know what I've got to say as well? I think Braithwaite can do better there. He tries to get his shoulder up against Joseph, and as you can see here, big, strong, powerful boy.
Yeah, 6'4", a real physical presence, and as he's already shown tonight and across the FA Youth Cup this season, plenty of good technical skills to match as well.
And these are the rare moments. See, when Regan Heskey's just up against Finley Wilkinson there, he's got to maybe try and use those moments to go at him one-on-one. Because when you're punching the ball out there and he gets doubled up, that's when you've either got to find a player quickly inside or move it quickly to make the extra body count. If they're doubling up and you out wide, there's somebody that should be spare. But if you take too many touches, sometimes you allow everybody else to get back in. It's difficult to play through the lines. That moment there, though, he had the 1v1 with Wilkinson. You go, OK, now's your time to test whether he can deal with you one-on-one.
Headley. Scorer in round 5 in that 4-1 win at Chelsea. Back for Braithwaite. He's already shown his impressive distribution on the ball. Heskey.
We saw a similar version on the right-hand side there with Tyjon doubling up.
Little 1-2, and it's worked out. Oh, and off the outside of the right boot. Someone gambling at that far post could have been 1-1. Now McAdoo. Still not away for Rovers. Just can't escape out.
And it was McAdoo that should have been at the back post. I mean, he's obviously a player that loves the ball at his feet, with McAdoo, but lovely little link-up play here with Samba and, well, both Sambas. And yeah, and he's squared it, and that's where McAdoo just hanging out on the other side used to drive me mad. I used to have a player in Callum Hudson-Odoi that was one of the most gifted players with the ball at his feet, and I used to try and tell him, try and look at how many goals Raheem Sterling gets tapping in at the back post. Nothing better than your opposite winger seeing that there's attack on the opposite side and making sure that he's going to arrive at the back post. Some of these younger lads, they don't want to get involved until they get the ball at their feet, but they don't realise there's a lot that they're missing out on when they don't run without the ball.
Joseph fighting to get there, and Joseph has got it over Hudson, but it's wide.
Massive chance that is. He disappointed, but again, misjudged header again, I think. Yeah, that was Dunn who cleared it, and they was maybe expecting the goalkeeper to get there, but the high line, they're not getting their distances right, and he'll be disappointed that he obviously never scored, but it looked like there might have been a little touch there, Mike.
Yeah, in fairness to Joseph, from that replay, you could understand him wanting the corner, because it suggests that the initial effort in terms of the trajectory off his own boot was going on target. Here's Heskey.
Another warning sign for City, though.
Samba headed away, and that will be called as a high boot on from Teddy Lamb. Yeah, for those unfamiliar, 2 Sambas in at Manchester City midfield, Tyrone Samba and Floyd Samba, and both of those are Chris Samba's son. I know one angle about this game that Blackburn supporters will find a particular nostalgia trip is that it's the sons of Samba against the son of David Dunn, Isaac Dunn, in central midfield for Blackburn. And of course, their 2 parents, both part of a bit of a golden era for Blackburn Rovers, where they were consistently not only in the Premiership, but one of the more impressive teams in it.
Both very good players. Samba, obviously physical, dominating centre-half, and David Dunn, I was in a couple of England under-21 squads with him, and very talented midfielder, and a homegrown talent that the Blackburn fans absolutely loved.
Yeah, 350 plus appearances for Blackburn Rovers, and he lives still 30 seconds from the training ground, David Dunn, so it's no surprise that Rovers fans are pretty excited about seeing his son come through the ranks as Joseph wins it on the high press, and whilst it might go out for a goal kick, little moments like that just send a message that Manchester City can't relax. You may have seen a few seconds ago what looked like a pretty stressed Oliver Rice frantically clapping his hands just to try and get his team going.
Yeah, and he won't be too displeased with how they've been on the ball. It's just there's been 3 direct balls that have been played forward from Blackburn. Well, maybe even 4. You can class the one that Igor Tyjon gets in with, but they threatened the goal with 3 of them. And they're not even been great balls, to be honest. It's been either a misjudged header or people not really taking responsibility.
Crossfield ball looking for Heskey.
Oh, well played, lad. Brought it down nice there, Finley Wilkinson.
It's the kind of touches that build your confidence for the rest of the game. No foul on Joseph, to his visible frustration. Miles sets it back for Manchester City to press on once more through Headley. McAdoo. Came off the back of Joseph. Braithwaite for Heskey. Back in again by Braithwaite. Nodded away, and now might be a chance on the break, but Fair's got 2 hunting him down.
Yeah, good turn of pace there from Headley. Tyjon thought he was on for a little break, but little turn of pace.
We were talking not too long ago about famous relatives. Well, Dante Headley's uncle is Ishmael Miller. Just a little foul in there, and that gives Blackburn Rovers some breathing space. This is exactly what you want from your centre forward.
Yeah, they can be just as important as making 5 or 10 passes when you're under the cosh. You can win a foul and then you get a little breather, allow your players to get up the pitch, especially when they're not been used to doing it.
Crossfield ball taken down by Headley.
Yeah, another good example there. Both right-backs have had 2 opportunities to bring the ball down from high floating balls, and both have dealt with it really well. Just shows you in the modern game now. I mean, wasn't that long ago where people will be trying to swipe at that and clear it, when a lot more demands put on defenders nowadays, put it that way.
An expectation to start attacks rather than merely just stop the oppositions.
Absolutely.
City building through Tevenham, but his pass is cut out. Joseph needs support. Does go down. Nothing given. Had the ball forward been a little better, there was some possibilities for Blackburn, who've already bettered their last result against Manchester City in an FA Youth Cup game. It's a semi-final back in COVID in 2020, where at St George's Park, Man City won 4-0 with a team that one good source from Rovers described to me as ridiculous, with the likes of Taylor Harwood-Bellis, Oscar Bobb, James Trafford, etc., that were just far too strong. But of course Rovers have already got past that result by getting themselves on the score sheet and dreaming of a little bit of an upset as McAdoo's pass is cut out. Braithwaite again looking for Heskey. That's been a regular theme of tonight. Sliding challenge in the nick of time.
Yeah, again from McCoy. Wide right. I mean, there's nothing better when you're a fullback and you can see the wide man in front of you, willingness to help you out, and he's done it at nearly every opportunity so far. He's cutting out them punch balls from Braithwaite.
McAdoo wriggling through and does manage to get the pass away. Rovers desperate to find a way out, and they have. Fair goes down and
well
buys
done,
the
Fair.
free kick.
Bought that free kick there. But just there when Floyd Samba, as I said, we've not really seen him on the ball high up the pitch much, and he got into the box there with lovely little intricate play with McAdoo, and he opted for another intricate pass rather than fizzing the ball across the goal. I know I was a striker, I would have been, here we are here. Lovely little slip behind with the right foot, and he's just tried to pull it back, Floyd Samba. Get that across the goal, or even hit the target. He's more than capable of forcing goalkeepers into a save from that angle.
Floyd Samba, one of the younger players in Ollie Rice's starting lineup tonight. He only turned 17 in the middle of January.
He's certainly the more physical one out of the brothers, even though he's the younger one. I was extremely impressed with him against Chelsea. Picked up so many good pockets against Chelsea and caused them all sorts of problems.
Here's Joseph. Does get it away to Ver. Possibilities for Blackburn here. McCoy. Speaking of young ones, Archie McCoy, only 16. He's managed to win the corner off Tevenon.
And he'll be really pleased that he's touched the ball in the opposition half, let alone in their defensive third, because he's been doing so much defensive work. But just showed there he's not frightened to get forward as well when Blackburn have got good possession.
Paul Butler's side dreaming of a second goal. Isaac Dunn comes across to take, the 17-year-old. Signed a 2.5-year pro deal in January. Has been at Rovers since he was 8 years old. And he's recently scored his first goal for the under-21s, a free kick against Crystal Palace not long before the Youth Cup quarter-final. So that gives you a sense of how highly rated he is at Rovers.
Yeah, and it will suit him that his family home is 30 seconds from the training ground. He certainly won't have to live in digs.
Yeah, the Dunn name, of course, carries plenty of weight in Blackburn. Referee just having a word about some pushing and shoving in the box. Joseph putting his presence about. He's already scored the goal that is the difference. Corner fizzed in, and the angle on it wasn't quite right, but you could understand the intention. Pack the 6-yard box and give Max Hudson a problem. It's something that we saw Everton do quite successfully a few times in the quarter-final.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Isaac Dunn, although he got it slightly wrong, it was a lovely whip on him. He put that in with a bit of venom. If that's 3 or 4 yards away from the goal, that could cause a huge problem.
McAdoo has, of course, made his senior debut, one of a handful of players on the park tonight who have, and he scored in a 10-1 win against Exeter City in the FA Cup third round in January. He also played against Salford in the 4th round. Heskey. Now the shot finally comes in, just over the bar, but again, City just steadily offering that threat, and most often tonight down the left flank.
And this is a good example again of Regan Heskey using the double up. Okay, he links it up inside, but it gets set to Tyrone Samba, who's looking to find that far corner. But those are the type of things you've got to do when you get doubled up on. Can you find little combination play which then frees up a player? And when you've got a player of the quality of Tyrone Samba, you don't want him to be taking too many shots from inside the box.
Tyrone Samba scoring 2 in the 4th round win against Arsenal, where Manchester City got revenge for an FA Youth Cup semi-final defeat a little while back. 5-2 winners at home. Braithwaite scored as well as Dunbar McDonald and Xavier Parker, who at 15 years old has made a big impact on this campaign and is a bit unlucky not to be in the starting 11 tonight. We've got a bit of confusion that led to that almost comical whacking of the second ball off the pitch. Now on we go. Forward by Pates. And well, Tyrone Samba got there first and got clattered.
DeCandia didn't hold back there, and landing a little bit on Samba then. Good to see a young player bouncing up and getting on with it, though, rather than rolling around, trying to get physios on.
Heskey. Headley. Manchester City trying to pick the lock. Easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, it almost, look how deep they are. It looks like a 6-3-1 in front of the Blackburn goal there. And
McAdoo wants the 1-2, got the 1-2, couldn't quite keep it going. Joseph trying to make a nuisance of himself. Tevenin into the starting lineup tonight. Tyrone Samba. Slightly not quite right, the waiting on the pass for McAdoo. That gave the chance for Michael Tajon to get it back, and then it's slightly... I say anywhere will do stuff for Blackburn. It's still directed, looking for Joseph as that outlet, but it's a tough task even for Valentin Joseph with both centre-backs for company.
Yeah, and you can't blame them. They've had success from doing it already. Rather than trying to pass their way out under pressure, they'll clear it and know that they've got a striker that causes problems with his physicality.
McAdoo. And still, might go himself here. You could see he was almost itching to get a shot off Ryan McAdoo, and he has won a corner. Such a threat when he gets it right. Spent 3 years at Colchester United from 8 to 11 years old. Chelsea took him from there for 5 seasons and then signed for City at the start of last season in August 2024, and he's been consistently making waves in youth football. Yeah,
I know that there was quite a few members of staff that were extremely disappointed to lose him. They thought he was a huge talent.
Manchester City's second corner of the night. In from McAdoo, won by Joseph, making himself useful as a defensive asset, taken down by Tevenin.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have. You've got a number 9 that's physical at one end, but can also come back and help out. Didier Drogba-esque, come back and clear the lines, having to deal with set pieces. Nothing better.
McAdoo. Just slipped as he shot, but in fact he's found Lam, and it's still not away. Hooked clear by Frank there.
Looked a little bit slow to react there, Lam, I felt. I thought it was quite obvious it was falling for him.
Tevenin's cross took a flick on the way through. It's kept alive by Tajon, but has only passed it straight to Headley. Waves of Manchester City pressure building. Trying to win this FA Youth Cup for the 5th time in their history. Heskey has been doubled up on for a lot of the night. City winners in 1986, 2008, 2020 and 2024 as that's hit the referee. So
just play on. Just allow him to play on. It's not much difference now, ref. No need to stop it.
City get the ball back as per a law change that came in a few years ago. As McAdoo crosses.
But again, look at that. It's similar to what happened from the left-hand side earlier. I mean, McAdoo's crossing it. You've got Lam in there with 4 defenders surrounding him and not one other Man City player in the box. I'm all for putting the ball in there, but you're going to... This is where you can get the opposite side of dominating the game and trying to almost horseshoe it around the block of Blackburn. When you do put the ball in the box, you've got too many thinking, oh, we're just going to recycle. That's better.
McAdoo's got past Tajon.
And there again, where's Regan Heskey on the opposite side? You've got too many of them that are waiting, thinking they're going to recycle the ball, make a few passes and switch play, rather than recognising when the opposite winger has gone by or is looking to cross. And you've got a lot of the work sometimes in these dominating games means going into the box and out of the box.
Manchester City corner. And towards that 6-yard area, well dealt with by Blackburn.
Great header that was from Decandia. Very, very good header.
Floyd Samba. He scored in the 5th round and scored a really nicely composed penalty in the quarter-final here too. Heskey. He's got 2 for company. Tyrone Samba. Heskey again.
The thing is, it looks like even more... Oh, great pass, son.
Oh, and right the way across the face of goal, begging for a tap-in, but it didn't quite get.
Brilliant from Regan Heskey, and I think that's Braithwaite, the centre-half, that's... Obviously, they've been camped in the Blackburn half from having a corner, so maybe Braithwaite hasn't gone back, but this pass here from Regan Heskey, so many bodies taken out with the... Not just the pass, but the run from Braithwaite there, getting forward. And he's pulled it across the box, and again... I mean, you've got to look at where Makaidu is anyway, because he's in the build-up play on the opposite side because of where there was a corner. But good pass that from Heskey.
Oliver Rice, I'm sure, will be starting to formulate the messages he might want to get across to his players at half-time. The 43-year-old German-born in Berlin, who made his name at his local club, Hertha Berlin, working there as an academy coach in various guises for more than a decade, until joining City as under-18s head coach in July 2024, and had a very successful first season. At one point they won 21 games in a row in all competitions, and then now looking to build on that this season. Of course, as mentioned earlier, fell short against Villa in 2 finals. That's great work in behind by Valentin Joseph, wins the corner for Blackburn.
Very good, and he was second best in the early part of that duel. Used his strength and came out on top there. I mean, he's won another corner for his side, but this is just great play from a striker. The ball even looks like it's going out, but I mean, he's dominating Drake at the minute.
Yeah, worth saying is that replay showed his shirt was clearly being held at one point by Drake too. Bustled past him, causing all sorts of problems on the break, Joseph. Here comes the corner, headed away for now. Thought of coming forward and striking that, Wilkinson. In the end he didn't, and Blackburn will get a free kick.
Yeah, I did actually think it was just a slight foul. I mean, Man City were eyes lit up there thinking they was going to be able to catch Blackburn on the break, but I think there was just the foul as they was challenging for the header. Yeah, Lamb's too late. Yeah, he's late.
Yeah, Lamb's body checked Wilkinson, and that hands something that we've not really seen much of at all to Blackburn, and to be honest, for either team so far, which is a genuine set-piece opportunity. It's not a corner. It's a free kick that really gives you that dilemma. Are we going for goal, or are we putting a ball into the box? But
I think this will be at goal, this one. It's too close to the edge of the box. I can't see this being crossed.
Referee went to put his whistle to his lips there, and Max Hudson was saying, hang on a minute, I'm still on one side of the goal arranging my wall. Wouldn't be the first quickly taken free kick scored by someone. Could be McCoy. He's crossed, and there was a free runner at that far post into Candia. He manages to win the corner off Headley. Spell of pressure for Blackburn.
Surprising there, because you look at the corner that Isaac Dunn has whipped in from the right-hand side. I'd have liked to seen Isaac Dunn over that one, and let's see what the keeper's got.
Well, he scored a free kick on his under-21s debut last month, just days before the quarter-final, so he can hit them. I wonder whether there's almost that kidology these days of trying something the opposition won't expect. And had it gone through to De Candia at that far post, he was completely free. Towards that back post, and again Blackburn win the aerial collision. It will be another Blackburn corner as well.
Yeah, it's Kelly Quinn, I think, just arriving at the back post. He's had a couple of really decent headers already in his defensive box, and he's getting on the end of one here. And yeah, I think it does hit a Man City player. Yeah, oh yes, it is. Yeah, it's Floyd Samba that it hits and goes over the bar. But this good pressure. This is from Blackburn. Very good pressure.
It's comfortably Blackburn's best spell of the game. No doubt about that. For all they're in front, the goal slightly came out of nowhere.
Straight on the keeper, this one again from Isaac Dunn, I imagine.
And from
oh,
Dunn.
What great ball again.
Whistle gone very quickly for a foul. Hudson wants to play quick, and Joseph is doing what he can to slow that process down.
Yeah, knew exactly what he was doing. Again, good centre-forward play. Not only out there to score goals, he's helping his team from a defensive aspect as well.
You're out there to be a nuisance as well and make a name for yourself, which is what this competition can do so well. Think of so many famous faces who this competition's been a bit of a launch pad for their careers. Just for Manchester City, Andy Hinchcliffe and David White in 1986. Part of that winning team went on to play for England. There's plenty since then as well, as that deflects off Samba into the gloves of Holt. 2008, the crop of Kieran Trippier, Daniel Sturridge, Ben Mee, victorious. 2020 at St George's Park, James McAtee, Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, and that City side from 2024. Of course, some of those players are very much still around in the under-21 setup at City, as flying in was there, and he almost won it.
Yeah, there's been even more. I mean, a couple of battles that I had with Man City. You had Phil Foden and Sancho and Brahim Diaz and Tozin. Very, very good players.
It's McAdoo.
Oh, well done.
What a goal from Ryan McAdoo. That is fantastic. Did it all himself, really. Cut inside, slalomed past a couple. Bottom corner, thank you very much. And the man who scored in round 4 and round 5 pops up with an individual stunner in the semi-final.
And a lot of this work is exactly the same as what he's been doing all game, but I mean, he's able to come in on his left-hand side, and it's Tyjon trying to do a job defensively, but a lot of the time he's been coming on his left-hand side, it's been outside the box. He was able to force Tyjon into the box here, which allowed him, instead of crossing, able to get a shot off, and he's just sneaked it in the near post. The gap between Tyjon and I think it's Pates was a little bit too big there. So far in the game, Pates has been a lot closer to Tyjon when he's been filling in almost in that left-back row in a back six. And the gap was just too big, which allowed him to then step into the box and get his shot off, and sneaked it into the corner.
It's a really clever goal from McAdoo. 4 minutes added on at the back end of this first half, and ironically, after Blackburn scored against the run of play, that goal was actually somewhat against the run of play for Manchester City. They'd spent a good 5 minutes, if not longer, absorbing a series of pressure from Blackburn, as that will be a foul.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. Blackburn had a really good spell with multiple corners and free kicks and set pieces and forcing mistakes from the Man City defenders for a good 6-7 minute period there, and the next time Man City have got up the pitch, they've punished them. And sometimes can happen when teams are not used to being further up the pitch and having to react and get back in. It can just mess with your distances at times, and I just felt Pates was a little bit too far away from Tyjon there when McAdoo had the ball at his feet, and we all know what he can do with the ball at his feet. He's displayed it numerous times this season already.
Really tough for Blackburn now psychologically to reset from being 1-0 up and having that good spell to suddenly in the blink of an eye being 1-1, as here goes Heskey trying to slalom his way through. Tyrone Samba. Would be an even bigger momentum shift if it becomes 2 goals in quick time.
This is where it's usually been, coming on his left to put a cross in. But look at the difference in the Man City. There's both Sambas and Heskey arriving at the back post there. Just shows you what a little goal and kind of change of like rhythm in the game can do. A good forward run again from Floyd Samba, and now they've got a corner. The towels are up here for this Man City team.
Yeah, you sense all of a sudden Blackburn are just trying to get through to half-time at 1-1. Taken short, taken quick. In by Floyd Samba. Odded up, and, well, that was a bit nervous from Harry Holt.
I think that could be a penalty.
Penalty Manchester City. It's all going wrong for Blackburn Rovers, who just moments ago in this semi-final tie were 1-0 up and piling the pressure on themselves. But McAdoo's equaliser, and now it's a penalty for Manchester City as well on top.
Poor punch from the goalkeeper, and yeah, I just think Joseph has just caught him. Floyd Samba's quicker, yeah, it is a penalty, but this is exactly what you can get when you put bodies into the box as well. I mean, I commented 10 seconds before that, they put a cross in and there was 4 Manchester City bodies in the box, and that's what you can get as well when there's second balls. Floyd Samba will be looking to put this away after winning it as well.
Floyd Samba scored a beautifully composed penalty in the quarter-final, but that's been saved in the semi-final. A massive moment for Harry Holt, the local Blackburn lad.
What an excellent save, son. I'll tell you what, not only does he get down into the corner at rapid pace, we just have a look at it. It's not the worst penalty. Okay, it's not. No, it is. It's not as far at the corner as it looks. But I'll tell you what I did like from the goalkeeper, Harry Holt, is that he held on to it. A lot of goalkeepers there will parry it out again for a little tapping, but okay, it's a poor penalty. It wasn't far enough in the corner, but I was pleased with Harry Holt there that he held on to the penalty. And that'll certainly make the game a little bit more interesting, keeping it at 1-1.
I can imagine Valentin Joseph might as well be the most relieved man in not only the north of England, but maybe the entire country.
Yeah, I think he'll have a little walk in at half-time and put his arm around that goalkeeper and give him a little thank you. Here he is again, though, Joseph.
Joseph left frustrated, no foul given.
Yeah, I thought Headley got away with one there. I thought that was a little slight pull on Joseph.
Time for one last bit of drama in a first half that has certainly not failed to deliver. Heskey.
Yeah, he's looking confident, Heskey. Having to deal with two players, and he's not shy at going at the pair of them. He didn't quite come off the better there, but he's won a corner for his team, and there was 2 minutes ago when the exact same scenario with a double up, and he's gone in between the pair of them. He's looking confident, Regan Heskey, and certainly a danger man for City.
I would imagine this is going straight towards Harry Holt. You could see Braithwaite getting in there trying to make a nuisance of himself. Both teams for corners have clearly decided the opposition keeper is vulnerable and are going to look to put it into the 6-yard box. I don't think there's any prizes for where this is going. And there it goes from Heskey. Foul called. And it was called pretty much immediately as well, as soon as the ball had been kicked.
He's on the right side of that one, Joseph. And they'll be pleased with that, Blackburn. I mean, there's nothing worse than having such a big, huge moment where you're saving a penalty and then you've still got another 2 or 3 minutes to half-time and you can see the corner. You just imagine the worry that's going through them, that the worst thing for them to do is to concede again.
So at half-time, it is a game that has certainly delivered to the semi-final billing. Valentin Joseph had Blackburn in front early on when a long ball forward from Harvey Pates wasn't dealt with. His 8th goal in the FA Youth Cup this season. And Ryan McCady got one back for Manchester City not long before half-time. And then a penalty for a foul on Samba by Valentin Joseph was saved fantastically by Harry Holt. Maybe not Floyd Samba's best effort. At half-time, it's Manchester City 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Let's take a look back at the first half highlights here at the Joy Stadium from this FA Youth Cup semi-final. Manchester City seeking an 8th final in the last 12 seasons. Blackburn haven't been in a final since 2012, but it was Blackburn who had the early lead. Ball over the top from Harvey Pates, leading to a 9th FA Youth Cup goal this season for Valentin Joseph.
Yeah, and it come after the back of Blackburn after 10 minutes. It was the first time that they made 6 or 7 passes, and they had to deal with a massive Man City threat, and it was the first time they made a few passes, albeit it was a direct longer ball there from Pates to Joseph, and Drake just misjudged the header, and he was able to get in behind both centre-halves and coolly slotted it away. I mean, he done very well there in the first half, Joseph, but yeah, that was the first time Blackburn made any passes.
9th goal in 4.5 FA Youth Cup games so far this season, and the 10th was almost close here.
Yeah, another opportunity where it was Blackburn going a little bit more direct, and Valentin Joseph showing what a physical specimen and how much of a problem he was, and Blackburn unlucky not to get a corner.
Manchester City have got so much quality in their ranks, they were always going to pose plenty of problems, and Tyrone Samba here nearly produced one of his trademark curlers.
Yeah, and that's come off the back of something that we've seen a lot in that first half, is two players doubling up on Regan Heskey, allowed him to free up Tyrone Samba, who looked for the far corner, just didn't quite get enough bend on it. But Regan Heskey again on the ball here. He's been a delight to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, he's had to deal with close attention from defenders, and again there it was a lovely bit of passing work from Heskey to find the centre-back Braithwaite, who nearly teed up Lamb.
Yeah, you wanted someone to be tapping that in, but that's, I'll tell you, the real top wide men in the football today can not only go past players, but they can pick a pass as well, and Heskey done that then.
Ryan McCady's always got moments of quality in him. He scored in the round 3 home win against Fulham and the round 5 win against his old club Chelsea, and he produced this almost out of nothing.
Yeah, and Tyjon doubling up again here, trying to help out his fullback, and Pate just retreated too close to his centre-half here. This happened so many times, but when he was coming inside, you had normally Pate like 5-10 yards behind him, and Ryan McCadu there just was allowed too much room to get in the box and picked the corner out really well.
The England under-18 international showing his quality. A nervous moment here for Harry Holt underneath his own crossbar, and then Valentin Joseph was late in, and all of a sudden Manchester City had a penalty mere moments after equalising.
Yeah, and he done some really good defensive work, Valentin Joseph, but he was definitely late on Floyd Samba there, definite penalty.
And he got a little bit fortunate, Valentin Joseph, because his keeper bailed him out. A great save from Harry Holt to keep the score at 1-1, which at the break is where things stands. Floyd Samba unable to replicate his successful penalty in the quarter-final.
Back to the goalkeeper. Pate's feeling the pressure slightly. Just for the long ball over the top. It needs to be judged. It's been misjudged by the defender. Joseph in behind here, stumbling slightly under pressure, but a super finish from the keeper. Pate's feeling the pressure slightly. For the long ball over the top. It needs to be judged. It's been misjudged by the defender. Joseph in behind here, stumbling slightly under pressure, but a super finish from the man. Pate's feeling the pressure slightly. For the long ball over the top. It needs to be judged. It's been misjudged by the defender. Joseph in behind here, stumbling slightly under pressure, but a super finish from the man who has been an absolute sensation in this competition this season. Valentin Joseph breaks a club record in a single season in the FA Youth Cup and gives Blackburn the advantage in the semi-final early on.
Well, it's a well-taken goal from him, and he'll be so disappointed in the manner of the defending. It's just Drake that gets caught underneath the ball when it goes long, and Braithwaite doesn't read that the centre-half's going to make a mistake, but he uses his strength really well here. I think Manchester City need to do more in defending their lines better. When Braithwaite's there, can he do more to get the other side of him and put more of a challenge in?
Pate's feeling the pressure slightly. For the long ball over the top. It needs to be judged. It's been misjudged by the defender. Joseph in behind here, stumbling slightly under pressure, but a super finish from the man who has been an absolute sensation in this competition this season. Valentin Joseph breaks a club record in a single season in the FA Youth.
Well, it's a well-taken goal from him, and he'll be so disappointed in the manner of the defending.
Be chased by Vet. He almost came away with it too. Kaidu, just a bit of space in front of him suddenly, some daylight, some support from Headley as well. He's not going to use it, he's going to strike it instead. It's a wonderful finish. Right. He almost came away with it too. Kaidu, just a bit of space in front of him suddenly, some daylight, some support from Headley as well. He's not going to use it, he's going to strike it instead. It's a wonderful finish. Ryan Makaidu gets City back level before the break. It's been a goal that's been a long time coming. It's been a clear chance that's been a long time coming. But Holt beaten at his near post. Certainly one that can be chased by Vet. He almost came away with it too. Kaidu, just a bit of space in front of him suddenly, some daylight, some support from Headley as well. He's not going to use it, he's going to strike it instead. It's a wonderful finish. Ryan Makaidu gets City back level before the break. It's been a goal that's been a long time coming. It's been a clear chance that's been a long time coming. But Holt beaten at his near post, and it's one of these stars of this under-18 outfit that provides the equal. Just a bit of space in front of him suddenly, some daylight, some support from Headley as well. He's not going to use it, he's going to strike it instead. It's a wonderful finish. Ryan Makaidu gets City back level before the break. It's been a goal that's been a long time coming. It's been a clear chance. Makaidu, just a bit of space in front of him suddenly, some daylight, some support from Headley as well. He's not going to use it, he's going to strike it instead. It's a wonderful finish. Ryan Makaidu gets City back level before the break. It's been a goal that's been a long time coming. It's been a clear chance to Purr now.
Blackburn Rovers.
The home side go quick with it. Tyrone Samba. That's an awkward punch from the keeper Holt, and a poor challenge as well by Joseph. Referee points to the spot. And the home side go quick with it. Tyrone Samba. That's an awkward punch from the keeper Holt, and a poor challenge as well by Joseph. Referee points to the spot, and a penalty's given. It was clumsy from the centre forward to Purr now.
Blackburn Rovers.
The home side go quick with it. Tyrone Samba. That's an awkward punch from the keeper Holt, and a poor challenge as well by Joseph. Referee points to the spot, and a penalty's given. It was clumsy from the centre forward to Purr now.
Blackburn Rovers.
The home side go quick with it. Tyrone Samba. That's an awkward punch from the keeper Holt, and a poor challenge as well by Joseph. Referee points to the spot, and a penalty's given. It was to Purr now.
Blackburn Rovers.
The home side go quick with it. Tyrone Samba. That's an awkward punch from the keeper Holt, and a poor challenge as well by Joseph. Referee points to the spot, and a penalty. The man that won the penalty will take the penalty. But it's saved by Holt, who makes amends for his disastrous punch, and it's a huge momentum swing right before. The man that won the penalty will take the penalty. For his disastrous punch, and it's a huge momentum swing right before half-time. The man that won the penalty will take the penalty. disastrous punch, and it's a huge momentum swing right before half-time for Black. The man that won the penalty will take the penalty. But it's saved by Holt, who makes amends for his disastrous punch, and it's a huge momentum swing right before half-time for Black. The penalty will take the penalty. Disastrous punch, and it's a huge...
Welcome back to Joy Stadium for the second half of this FA Youth Cup semi-final. The optimistic spring sunshine has been replaced by some of the slightly chillier weather that we were unfortunately greeted with during the quarter-final against Everton. But fortunately, once again, have the pleasure of Jody Morris's company for this second period.
Enjoyed that first half, I have to say. Two different types of footballing teams, but playing the game maybe two different ways, but both can be effective.
Extra time and penalties available if needed then. 1-1 at the break. Valentin Joseph's ninth in the competition this season. Cancelled out by Ryan McAdoo just before half-time. And City now attacking from right to left. Blackburn Rovers from left to right. Both sides unchanged at the half-time break. Blackburn Rovers seeking a bit of history. They've only won this competition once, way back in 1959. Last in a final in 2012. Looking to cause something of an upset against arguably one of, if not certainly the often dominant team in under-18s football across recent times, particularly when it comes to the north, you might say, although Manchester United fans might not thank me, because Manchester City currently top of the Northern League, above Manchester United on goal difference with a game in hand. Blackburn 8th for reference, and of course these two sides fighting for a home final against Manchester United or Crystal Palace, who meet at Old Trafford next Friday. Here comes McAdoo with a great bit of skill. Sets up the crossing chance, and the first corner of the second half is won within a minute of the restart.
Yeah, good bit of skill there from Ryan McAdoo, sliding it through the legs of the Blackburn player. Now going to be taking this corner. Quick start from City.
No prizes for where it's going. Somewhere close to Harry Holt, who's got plenty of company in there. In by McAdoo. It's a nice strong header from DeCandia.
Yeah, he had two of them in the first half, and they've got a little break on here, maybe.
There. Sky blue shirts hunting him down. It was Igor Tarjon, in fact. Shimmy inside, and just a small foul from Tyrone Samba.
Yeah, it was a good corner there from McAdoo, and DeCandia had a couple in the first half, but that was a really dominant header from a dangerous ball. Both Blackburn centre-halves defended really well aerially in the first half.
Paul Butler on the left, Oliver Rice on the right, both living every emotion on the touchline. Tevenon has to be wary, concedes the throw. Just on the note of the touchline, one nice story, which is that Matty Irwin, who's come in for Blackburn Rovers as their new academy coach earlier this week, particularly specialising with the goalkeepers, and he was in fact in goal last time Blackburn reached the FA Youth Cup final way back in 2012, and as part of coming in, as well as on a technical level, gave a little talk to the squad about what it meant for that crop of 2012 to get so far. Blackburn trying to create something, Vare just lost it, and now it's a chance for City to build. Miles tenacious in there and won it and drew the foul.
Yeah, those, no matter where your career went on to do whatever at first team level, you always remember who you played against in the FA Youth Cup.
McAdoo. Manchester City trying to find a way through. They so often do. Scored at least 3 goals in every game on the run this season. 3-1 at home against Fulham, 5-2 at home against Arsenal, 4-1 at Chelsea, and then 3-0 here against Everton. Heskey does manage to slide it in behind. Cross is blocked by De Candia.
Does very well again, Heskey. I like the variation in his game. Short corner.
Tyrone Samba, Heskey. Unselfish, Tevenon stands one up. Just drifted out of play, though, off the boot of Oliver Tevenon.
A little bit overhit the pass there, Heskey, to Tevenon, but as I was saying, I like the variation in Regan Heskey's game. He's gone at players tonight, he's gone inside, he's crossed, he's gone on the outside, and he's also picked passes when he's been clearly outnumbered. I love the variation of that as a winger, as a wide man. It's so difficult to defend when you've got someone who can do those all different things.
Regan Heskey, born in Liverpool. His dad, Emil, of course, pretty well connected and loved in that part of the world, but Regan Heskey himself has been at Manchester City since he was 8 years old, much like his brother Jayden. He's come up through the City Academy. Jayden now on loan at Championship side Sheffield Wednesday. What a ball that is.
Braithwaite again.
McAdoo. Good covering defence from Tyjon. That's what a fullback needs from their winger. Relentless pressure from Manchester City, though.
And now look at how high Braithwaite is as well. Just, he didn't quite pick it up there as Tyrone Samba wanted it, but Tyrone Samba again back on it.
Slipping the ball around with confidence here.
Not too dissimilar to how they started the first half, Michael. And we all know what happened after 10 minutes.
McAdoo. McAdoo does get it in behind. Almost trying to walk it in here, Manchester City, and they have got it in. It's turned in for 2-1, and it's Teddy Lamb, the serial poacher, in the right place at the right time. Just after 5 minutes gone in the second half. And Oliver Rice's team have turned this cup tie right around.
I was just saying how much I like the variation in Regan Heskey's play, because he could go past people and find a pass, but look at that from Ryan McAdoo. Great run again from Floyd Samba. Gets his shot off. Keeper maybe could want to do better and hold on to it like he held on to the penalty. Oh, it hits the post and comes back out. Didn't realise it hit the post, and then obviously Teddy Lamb's alive, as all poachers are. Reacts to it first, but a lovely little run from Floyd Samba. But again, great pass from Ryan McAdoo, and he's the one who opened that up with the pass. But you don't get to make those passes unless you've got willing runners like Floyd Samba was, who then checked back on his left foot, got his shot off, rebounds off the post, and there's your number 9 to slide it in from a yard.
And how must Blackburn Rovers be feeling? 1-0 up, mere moments before half-time. They had a good spell of pressure where they could have quite possibly scored a second. And now they've conceded either side of the break, despite having that penalty saved as part of that run. Rovers have got to refine their composure on the toughest of tests, having fought so hard to get here. 2-1 home winners against Southampton, 8-1 winners at Coventry, 2-0 winners at Swansea, and then coming from behind to win 2-1 against Burnley. But this is their toughest test of the journey so far, no doubt.
Headley, the right back, what a pass.
Heskey flashes it across the face of goal. I think he was slightly caught in two minds there as to whether to cross or shoot. Regan Heskey.
Yeah, and that was Headley that played the pass. He came all the way over from the right back spot, just slides it in nicely there to Regan Heskey. And do you know what? I think it was the right option across the goal. He just maybe a little bit higher than he would have liked, but another warning sign for Blackburn.
Of course, his older brother Jayden scored in a 4-0 win against Leeds in the final of this competition back in 2024. Matty Warhurst, Todd Wovoda and Stephen Mfudnik also on target. There's more than 20,000 watched just across the road from here at the City of Manchester Stadium. Too much on the pass for Tevenon from Tyrone Samba.
You can understand why Tevenon's making that run, because he's been fed a few times from Regan Heskey out on the left with that underlapping run that is renowned for a lot of Man City players, not just in youth team and academy levels, but their first team.
Penny for the thoughts of Paul Butler. Must have been pretty pleased about half an hour or so ago when his side were 1-0 up and pressing for a second. Fight for the ball in midfield. Tyrone Samba manages to get it out to Regan Heskey. Heskey's already been scoring and assisting regularly in the under-21s and in the UEFA Youth League as well. Braithwaite.
I mean, he's definitely got his dad's stature as well. He's got the physicality, but dare I say it, I think he's a little bit more technical than Emma was. And I think Emma would admit that and all.
Leave that for you to...
Oh, I played with Emma. Listen, I played with him, and I'm good friends with him, but I know he would be the first to admit that. But his old man would probably say, yeah, I'm still the main man until he gets the amount of Premier League games that I got.
Spread out wide by Drake. McAdoo. It's all going sky blue at the moment. One back by Levi Ball. Couldn't quite get it to that talismanic figure of Joseph. Braithwaite for Heskey. Blackburn defending narrow, as they have done a lot of tonight. Slightly heavy first touch. That's what gave the chance for Wilkinson to take it off him, but Heskey wins it back straight away. Drake. McAdoo. Gets past one. McAdoo has a go, and a mistake from Holt, and he's a lucky lad that Harry Holt, because he can turn around and not have to pick the ball out of his own net.
Yeah, there was a little bit of venom in this shot from McAdoo, but yeah, Harry Holt certainly had to react quickly there, knowing that that was heading to getting over that goal line. It would have been a disappointing one.
Manchester City will want the comfort cushion of a second goal here. 2-goal advantage, to be clear, of course, is what I mean. McCoy does manage to win a corner. That's key for Blackburn. They've not really had a lot to shout about in an attacking sense ever since the equaliser just before half-time. That's nice from 16-year-old Archie McCoy.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of him from an attacking perspective, but he certainly worked his socks off for his team, and particularly his man, his right back behind him, Finlay Wilkinson.
They have consistently posed a threat from set pieces today, Blackburn, particularly when they've got it into that 6-yard box. That's what I expect Isaac Dunn will do. Isn't the worst ball in, but just dribbles wide off the head of DeCandia.
Yeah, they didn't all surround the goalkeeper on that one. He clearly sent that a little bit further to the back post and was hoping that the aerial duels would be won by DeCandia, but just wasn't able to get enough purchase on it.
Blackburn seeking a 5th appearance in an FA Youth Cup final in their history. Runners-up in 1998, 2001 and 2012. Winners just once way back in 1959. Gives you an idea of what it would mean to them. Teddy Lamb has got the pace to get there. And has managed to help it inside. Big danger here. McAdoo. Blasted clear. And Joseph has managed to hold it up.
Yeah, probably one of the more direct passes we've seen from a Man City player tonight. Over the top of Kelly Quinn, and Teddy Lamb certainly fancied himself in the foot race there, and he did come out on top. Give Kelly Quinn a few yards as well.
Lamb scoring that equaliser, known as a versatile and skillful striker. Signed from Leyton Orient last year. Signed as a scholar, like many of the players you're watching on this pitch right now, in the process of trying to earn his first professional deal. Heskey with room to run into. It's not often he's had that tonight. Regan Heskey nicked it past Dunn, but slightly heavy touch. It's still there for Manchester City though. Miles. Braithwaite. McCady. Almost hypnotic series of step-overs and footwork that can dazzle defenders. Speaking of hypnotically good footwork, is Regan Heskey. Miles. Drake on for McCady. He's trying to tempt Blackburn out here a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly looking a little bit more patient than they was when they was 1-0 down. A little bit more high on confidence as well. I mean, they seem to be stroking it about now with a little bit more of, not arrogance, but a lot more confident, just thinking that they'll wait for a better opportunity.
Heskey. Patient possession from Manchester City. Blackburn Rovers, for now, happy to let them have it until it gets a bit more dangerous. Heskey once more. Tyrone Samba. And again, it's Drake. McCady. If they do score, it's going to be one of those goals that ends up getting played on social media, fast forward, count the passes, but that's the commentator's curse for you, because away comes Joseph, and he has just about run out of room playing touchline tango, so Manchester City throw.
Yeah, a bit of a sloppy pass from Ryan McCady into Miles in midfield. He kind of fired it at him, and it wasn't along the floor, and just a little warning sign of let's not get cocky with it, because we can turn it over and we could be open for the counter-attack straight away. There was a couple of times there I felt when Regan Heskey had it in a 1v1 situation, and thought he should have got at his fullback a little bit more. I say fullback, it's McCoy doing the job. Brilliant 1-2 that.
Tyrone Samba just drives it over the bar. So close from Tyrone Samba. He did have a couple of defenders who probably did just enough to put him off.
Both Sambas combining beautifully there. Tyrone and Floyd, lovely little 1-2, just comes in and on his stronger foot here, Tyrone, and he'll be disappointed. When you've got the quality that he has, he'll be disappointed that he hasn't hit the target, but two brothers combining lovely there.
Oliver Rice, far from relaxed. He'll be all too knowledgeable to be aware that whilst Manchester City might be a goal up and might have the momentum, really need to find ideally another one here just to try and make their passage to the final a bit more comfortable. But Blackburn will have plenty to say about that. They've had a happy knack this season of coming back into games on this FA Youth Cup run, and also of scoring late winners. Harvey Higgins scored a 96th minute winner against Southampton, and then the same happened against Burnley. McCady looking for his second, unselfish. Strike deflected, and a bit of a pinball machine back there. Hurriedly cleared by Isaac Dunn, and suddenly possibilities on the break. Igor Tajon. He's only got Joseph for company.
Yeah, it was difficult for Tajon there. He had two men in front and behind him, and difficult when you haven't got the pace to take it beyond them.
McCady. Overlapping run, and that's a late challenge diving in. And Manchester City.
Kelly Quinn. I just think that he weren't really going to go anywhere, and the fact that Floyd Samba had overstretched and just poked it, he was either going to poke it towards the goalkeeper where it went, or he's going to poke it off the end of the pitch. There's no need to fully commit from Kelly Quinn. Floyd Samba looks like he's hurt here, but yeah, little combination play with McCaidu down the right. Looks like he overhit it a little bit, McCaidu, but yeah, there's no need for the full committal with the tackle. You're never going to get there, Kelly Quinn, and again, he probably thinks he's got a chance of getting there, but with the long legs of Floyd Samba, has managed to nick it.
Now, Floyd Samba is, of course, Manchester City's normal penalty taker, but he's had one saved tonight and looks in some serious discomfort here. So there's every chance someone else is going to have to step up when we get to the penalty itself. It's not normally any penalty taker's most enjoyable thing to have to wait a while before doing so. Wonder whether even
wouldn't surprise me if his brother wants it. Being the older one, you've missed the first one. I think I'll take the second.
That scored Tyrone Samba a couple in the fourth round win against Arsenal. Floyd has won what is the second penalty of the night. Blackburn Rovers getting a quick regroup and a chat with head coach Paul Butler.
Yeah, he's won them both, isn't he, Floyd? Won both penalties.
And this long delay that only adds to the tension of the spot kick that will follow. Blackburn Rovers scrapping to stay in this cup tie, which I think you wouldn't quite go so far as to say they had control of, but they were certainly in front of. And at the moment where Manchester City equalised, having the better of the game.
Yeah, and it was just completely the wrong start to the second half that Blackburn are not winning. Oh, it's Regan Heskey, looks like he's got the ball.
Scored a beautiful quarter-final curler against Everton at this end of the ground last month to help confirm Manchester City's quarter-final victory. Now, can Regan Heskey put Manchester City a step closer to the final? It's Heskey, and it's emphatic. Regan Heskey makes no mistake. Manchester City have a 2-goal cushion.
I mean, I'm actually really pleased he is on the score sheet, Regan Heskey, because I've enjoyed watching him play tonight. But I think you said it, Michael, and it was spot on. The word emphatic is what you'd say about the connection and the strike of that penalty. He certainly wasn't holding back with the strike, and I think Holt goes the wrong way, but I'm not sure it would have mattered too much if he'd have gone the right way.
You can see what that meant to his head coach. Not a man more the way inclined for the overly dramatic touchline celebration. Oliver Rice, known for being a cool, composed character, but he knew how important that was. And now, with almost exactly a quarter of this one left, Blackburn Rovers truly have it all to do.
No, you look at this one now, Michael, and then you now think, you worry what the score may be. Once there's a little cushion here for Man City, the confidence levels go up, Blackburn's heads go down, and they've got to come out a little bit more. They've got to try and search for the goal to close the deficit, and by doing that, you could leave yourself with even bigger gaps, which Man City be looking to exploit.
And you notice pretty much for the first time all night, even Max Hudson, the keeper, getting pressed high there, and that will leave spaces potentially, as that's just slightly late and clumsy.
Yeah, and it is hard to switch. No, I don't care what level you play at, it's hard to switch when you've been playing almost like a 6-3-1 on the edge of your own box, to then go into the mode of, right, we've got to now go and press up the pitch. It's hard to change that mode mid-game, after the fact that you're already disappointed and despondent in the fact that you're 2 goals behind.
Tevenen's clip forward just runs out. So a strong crop this for Blackburn. Pretty much all of these players, younger or older, will head in various directions after this one. Is unsurprisingly, with a competition like this, it's always going to be famous old faces watching on.
Yeah, it's always good when you see your first team staff that are at these Youth Cup games, or any youth game.
One back by McCade, could be a fourth. It's Lamb, saved by Holt.
And it's important that these young players see that there's first team staff there. Another opportunity here for Lamb. I mean, he gets a good strike in it off, doesn't he? He's just peeled off his centre half, and again it's McKay who's finding a pass. You do worry for Blackburn now, because it looks like they're getting them in at will.
Blackburn having to really dig in. Pretty much all this squad have got a big game coming up in the next week or so, because they'll sort of break off in different directions after today. The under-17s are in the final of the under-17 Premier League Cup against West Ham and Accrington next Wednesday, the 15th of April. And the under-21s have a Premier League Cup semi-final away against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, which again a great opportunity for these young players to play at a big iconic ground in a competitive game with so much on the line.
Yeah, and just seeing McCoy there in the picture, I'm sure he'll be one that will be playing in the under-17 Cup, and he'll be hoping to be used in a much more attacking way than he's been used tonight.
Tyrone Samba takes his leave owing to the injury that he picked up when that penalty was won. Hopefully nothing too serious, but did seem to be limping just a little. That leaves 4 changes for Manchester City to make. Blackburn still have all 5 available, but it's fascinating that even with the score at 3-1, Paul Butler has still not yet gone to his bench. McCady. Manchester City chasing a 4th that, while it might be a bit much to say that they've got 1 foot in the final now, I think if they scored the 4th, you would be at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And that's when the manager will be thinking what sort of management is expected of these players, because some may have to be going back to the PL2. That might be one of the reasons why you're looking at Tyrone Samba coming off.
Heskey.
Oh, again.
Tevenon in acres of space. Tevenon's cut back. Headley. Oh, great skills from Headley, too close to Holt.
Tevenon again with the underlap, and Regan Heskey finding that pass just in behind the fullbacks, and he has all the time in the world, and he looked like he overhit it a little bit. Slightly baggy touch from Headley. Lovely little megs on Tyjon, and shoots it straight at Holt. Nice play though from Headley.
1 in midfield, and now Floyd Samba showing what he can do. Of course, there's some added pressure on Blackburn to come out and press, try and win it back. Tevenon, Heskey can cause a level of desperation being 3-1 down. Miles. Lamb on the spin. Just can't get out, Blackburn. And pulled across. Could have been 4. And then Tevenon on the follow-up. A magnificent strike from Oliver Tevenon. Manchester City might feel they've got 1 foot in the FA Youth Cup final.
Yeah, and you've got to feel for De Candia, the centre-half. He makes an extremely good block on Floyd Samba's forward run, which looks like it had been going in on goal itself. He makes a great block, but it falls to Tevenon, who unleashes a lovely volley. He's been brilliant going forward in the underlap spots and finds himself on the edge of the box. I mean, look, run from Miles here, puts the cross in. Floyd Samba gets a block from De Candia and then falls to Tevenon, who finds the corner not like a left-back, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's up there with McCady's goal in terms of the technical quality of the strike for being the goal of the night.
Difficult to control them as well. There's a half volley with a spinning bounce. He controls it really well, keeps it low, and Harry Holt's got no chance in the goal. And like I said, you've got to feel for the Blackburn defence. De Candia makes a fantastic block on Floyd Samba's shot from the edge of the 6-yard box first. But now, as I said earlier, you've got to fear for the score with a couple of subs looking to be made here, Michael.
Holt has to be wary. going to take quite something from here for Blackburn, even having been some of the comeback kings of the FA Youth Cup this season.
Yeah, I imagine these subs here that you might be looking at the players that are usually regulars in the PL2. Could be a Heskey, because this is when you start looking after the players that you never know when their next game, big game may be. Ryan Makaidu here, he's obviously used to playing in the PL2 and even in the first team, so. Dunbar McDonald for him.
Christian Dunbar McDonald, a pretty handy player to bring on, part of the side that in 2024 won this competition and in 2025 was runners-up. Teddy Lamb takes a well-earned rest after scoring the goal that put Manchester City in front, and on comes Xavier Parker, who has been a star in his own right of this run. He scored in the 4th round and the 5th round. 15-year-old, one of the very youngest players to be a regular starter for any team in the FA Youth Cup this season, and possibly a bit unlucky to lose his place to Lamb tonight, in truth.
Yeah, listen, a 15-year-old to play in any Youth Cup team is unbelievable, but for one to get into a Manchester City Youth Cup team, you've got to be some player. City just controlling the game here again.
Yeah, they've got Blackburn exactly where they want them now, and it's a tough assignment for Rovers as Samba waltzing his way through, and it's going to be a yellow card for simulation. Challenge from Isaac Dunn.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's one of these. It's one of these situations where you go, okay, it's 4-1. It's when I really, really don't want Man City to go on a route and score more goals because of the level of performance that Blackburn turned in the first 45. As we're looking at Floyd Samba, was he a little dive here? Yeah, Isaac Dunn's stuck his foot out, but Floyd Samba definitely didn't get any connection with that. It's close, but that's why he got his yellow card.
Yeah, you would hope that regardless of the result here, and I'm sure they won't, Paul Butler's a very calm and measured man, that no one internally at Blackburn will lose sight of it. But even externally, what an excellent effort it has been from Blackburn to get here. Semi-finalists in this competition for the first time since 2020, when they were beaten by Manchester City at St George's Park. And it's definitely brought a few people's attention, the fact that a club who are not in the Premier League at senior level have got to that Final Four.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, even pre-game, they've got a good crop of youngsters here. They've earned their way into this semi-final, but we always knew it was going to be a tall task against Manchester City.
Manchester City hunting number 5, McCady. Lovely step overs, what's at the end of it, slightly heavy touch, and just shepherded out by Blackburn for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's Dunbar McDonald now going out the left back, isn't it? He'll be looking to put his imprint on this game.
No, they don't have a happy history, Blackburn, in recent FA Youth Cup semi-finals. In 2016, lost 4-1 an aggregate to Chelsea side featuring the likes of Raheem Sterling, Fikayo Tomori and Tammy Abraham. Maybe they can get one back here.
Raheem Sterling for the Chelsea team? No way. He weren't at Chelsea.
I beg your pardon.
I was going to say I was involved in that game.
I beg your pardon. Yeah, of course, it was a head-to-head between Blackburn and City, to be clear. And that was an era where pretty much couldn't get this trophy off Chelsea 5 straight FA Youth Cup wins from 2013 to 2018, but it's been shared about a bit more since. 4 winners in the last 7 seasons, one of which is, of course, Manchester City, who you're watching now, winners in 2020 and 2024. Villa have won it a couple of times. Manchester United in 2022, West Ham in 23, and Liverpool in 2019. As there's a bit of afters between Valentin Joseph and a couple of the Manchester City players.
That'll just be the frustration levels there from Joseph, knowing that it's run away from Blackburn tonight. Little clash with the captain, Braithwaite. Hopefully nothing needed from the referee.
Yeah, Joseph, he's got a tough task in this team on a night like this, being that focal point for Blackburn, I should say. Having to deal with 2 centre-backs and having to work off not necessarily as much service as he'd like, it's fair to say.
And listen, he's made a very good job of it. It's an extremely difficult job as a number 9 to be a defender for most of the night, but he's done very well in it. He's just shown his frustration levels there, because he would have felt they had a sniff tonight, certainly after the first 45 minutes.
Tevenon, wide for Heskey. Heskey gets the corner off Finlay Wilkinson. Drifting towards the last 10 minutes. Manchester City look in the mood for more goals. City side who so often have been there or thereabouts in this competition in recent seasons, and would be yet another final. Heskey's got the short option of Dunbar McDonald, which he uses. Pass wasn't quite where Heskey needed it to be. Jean wins the throw. Well, if there is to be something extraordinary from Blackburn, it's near enough got to start now, and going to make a triple change in chasing the nigh on impossible.
Looks like it's Floyd Samba coming off.
Manchester City will make their 4th alteration of the night as well. Karen Cassin comes on. So City have just 1 change left in the bank now. And Paul Butler, Blackburn boss, goes to his bench for the first time this evening.
These will be where you just try and give some players some experience in this final. The game's almost done here for Blackburn, and try and give the players an experience of such a big game.
Yeah, it's Finlay Wilkinson, the right back, Isaac Dunn, the centre midfielder, both making way. And Archie McCoy, the 16-year-old. Harvey Higgins comes on. Higgins, who scored a 96th-minute winner in the 3rd round.
I'm not surprised to see Wilkinson and McCoy come off for a breather, because they put in some shift down that right-hand side tonight, having to deal with Regan Heskey and Tevenon.
Yeah, we haven't got the live stats, but it definitely feels like, just from the eye test, a disproportionate amount of Manchester City's attacks through the night have come down that left flank, that left channel. So, as you allude to, that Blackburn right-hand side of the defence have had to work particularly hard, as Joseph is bundled to the ground by Braithwaite. It will be interesting to see if it's a formation change for Blackburn, or it's more of simply fresh legs. Lister is quite positionally flexible. Harvey Higgins, I'd imagine, will be a right wing straight swap for Archie McCoy. Whipped in, and uncertainty back there. Still not cleared by Manchester City. Pinballing around the penalty box. Tajon gets there first. Has two defenders hunting him down. And gets the corner.
That was a venomous cross there from Levi Ball. Very, very good cross. Too hot to handle for the goalkeeper, and they'll be trying to stick it on the goalkeeper again from this incoming corner.
Ball towards that far post. Came off the shoulder of Higgins. Now Heskey trying to lead the breakout. Gets inside. Just on the note of Levi Ball, who took those corners, Paul Butler has said that based on his attitude as much as anything else, he thinks that Ball has the best chance of anyone in this Blackburn team of stepping up to regular senior football. Joseph is comfortably offside.
It's always nice when you hear your manager with those sort of words. Can only feel the player with confidence, the individual he's talking about in Levi Ball. But not only that, it sends a message to the other players. When you're talking about character and personality and what's needed to succeed, if you're one of the other players that may feel you have a little bit more than him in certain areas, you've got to then readjust and go, OK, but maybe I'm lacking in the character and personality area.
Well defended by Manchester City.
Ooh, harsh.
Foul as well, and a yellow card.
Oh, yeah, it looked like he got the ball there.
Igor Tajon goes in the book. Just straining back to stop the counter-attack, having lost it.
Oh, he's got the ball there. It's the sub, isn't it? It's the 17.
I beg your pardon, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't even think... He's got the ball there. That's a little bit harsh from the ref here.
Trying to get the cards picked up and back in the pocket.
I think it was Drake and Joseph couldn't resist a little laugh at the referee. Always nice when you can have a little laugh with a ref. Or at him sometimes.
Jayden Sargent scored the winner in the quarter-final. But
in fairness, talking about the ref, he hasn't got much wrong, Michael, has he?
Yeah, it's a tough and thankless job being a referee. So that, I think, might have come off the arm of Parker. Blackburn get the throw.
Yeah, he's been... The fact that we're not talking much about the ref, and it's... I think he got the penalties spot on. I think he got the dive from Floyd Samba spot on. It's the only one there that probably decision all night. I think he's actually got wrong, and he's been very quiet, so that's a sign of a very good performance from the ref.
One to be won in midfield. Miles lost it. Joseph is in behind here. It's Valentin Joseph to give Blackburn some hope. It's stopped by Hudson. He had an option on the pullback too. Just slightly ended up a little wider than he might have wanted here, Joseph.
Michael, I need to see who played this pass, because it was, for me, the pass of the night so far. If we get a chance to see the replay, because I tell you what, that was an outstanding pass. Got a feeling it might have been Ball, but I don't know.
Braithwaite, fouled by Joseph. In a very composed, accomplished performance, Caden Braithwaite, who has made a Manchester City senior debut as a 16-year-old in a home win against Watford in the League Cup at the start of last season in September 2024. And inevitably you will start to see plenty of the players you've seen on your screen tonight filter up and into senior football across the next few years.
All pace.
Charging in behind, needs stopping, and sliding challenge from Pates. Recycled by Gorman.
Yeah, Braithwaite, when I watched him live against Chelsea, he was very commanding in the centre-back spot. Very good on the ball, and not only that, we've seen him stick the ball in the back of the net with a free kick against Arsenal in the earlier round. Yeah, and he's certainly a talent.
Yeah, the phrase Rolls Royce of a centre-half is one that you can see easily being ascribed to his name plenty across the next few years. Tevenon.
Commentators there, Michael. Me and you waxing lyrical about Braithwaite.
Well, Tyjon wanted to take it quickly, but the referee wanted to go back to book Tevenon.
Oh, do you know what? I think it was Braithwaite, you know, for pulling him back, because he lost the ball in midfield. He was too casual on it, and I think he pulled Blackburn player back. I think he aimed at Braithwaite, you know, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Beg your pardon, it looked like he was pointing it actually in Tevenon's direction, which slightly confused me.
And I think here it is, he gets a little bit too casual. Good pressure from Tyjon there, and yeah, he's pulled him back.
Dante Headley takes his leave, has put in a good shift, the local lad down the right flank, came right through the City Academy, known for his versatility, but best used in and flying down that right flank like he has been tonight. And Charlie Cortman comes on, versatile defender who's been with Manchester City right through the under-8s, having been born in Harrogate in Yorkshire once upon a time. Grew up as a passing midfielder, but has become more of a fullback at this level. So will be a straight swap for Headley in that position.
I'm a huge fan of Headley. I think he's got all the attributes to be a top fullback in today's game.
6 minutes added on at the back end of this one. Had that chance been scored by Valentin Joseph not too long ago, it might have just given it the tiniest of glimmers of hope for Blackburn.
Slightly surprised by this 6 minutes, I've got to say, Michael. I know there's been a few goals, but maybe one delay for the penalties, and obviously there's been multiple subs now, but 6 minutes might be a bit strong.
Yeah, no, we're in an era now where stoppage time as a whole is increasing, because referees are also being a lot more assiduous about keeping track of even smaller delays that can go on during a game. A minimum of 6 minutes, of which we're into the second now. Remember, of course, the other semi-final is next Friday, 7 p.m. kickoff, not too far from here at Old Trafford. Manchester United in action at home against Crystal Palace. United came from behind to beat Sunderland 3-2 at Old Trafford in the quarter-finals. Meanwhile, by the same scoreline, Palace scored twice late to beat holders Aston Villa. City eyeing number 5. Switch finds Heskey in loads of room. It's been one of the stars of the show tonight, Regan Heskey. And here he goes, drifting forward. He's begging for a finish. It may yet get it, but there was a foul initially in trying to shoot, actually.
Yeah, I think he just let it run across his body, and it was too far for him to get a shot off, so I think he was just poking it to his teammate, and I thought he managed to do it. I was surprised the ref blew up for that.
Yeah, Xavier Parker, attacking midfielder, who's had a big role in this Youth Cup run for Manchester City, signed from West Ham a couple of years ago. His challenge gets it through to Joseph, who is crowded out. Tevenon, scorer of that half volley that might end up being the goal of the night. Probably that or Makedu's slaloming individual effort. Nice spin and drawing a slightly late tackle from Candia.
Just going back to something maybe 35 seconds ago there, it was Levi Ball with a thunderous tackle in the middle of the park, and that's probably a little bit what Paul Butler's talking about.
Heskey, has he got him behind again? Not quite. Does find a lovely pass for Parker, who runs out of room.
Yeah, just going back to the point regarding Ball in midfield, who's obviously the captain tonight. He's put in a thunderous challenge in the middle of the park. They're 4-1 down. Man City are controlling the game and making passes, and he's still jumping from holding midfield to try and put pressure on him. And you go, that's a winner, that's character, and that's probably one of the reasons why your manager there in the shot was waxing lyrical about his character and his attitude, and that's why he's got a chance in the game.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul Butler, regardless of the impending result, will be rightly pretty proud of his team tonight.
Yeah, and you're spot on there. Rightly proud is definitely the shout, because they haven't given up. They've worked their socks off in what was always going to be a huge uphill task. They've had to be so disciplined and dedicated without the ball, but they've managed to cause Man City problems. But in both halves, to be fair, okay, there was a long spell in the second half where it was difficult for them, but they've done themselves proud tonight, and they've been a credit to the football club and to their manager, Paul Butler.
Ball finds Joseph. Guess if there's one thing that will frustrate Blackburn, it's the fact that they were 1-0 up and actually having a good spell in their own right not long before half-time, and then just that moment from Makadu was one that turned the tie, and they might just think, have we got through to half-time 1-0 up, chance to reset and build from there, could it have been different? Yeah,
totally. But do you know what? That's why you have talented, creative, attacking players on the football pitch, because as organised and as disciplined as Blackburn was, that one little switch off, talent can expose that. And Makadu was able to do that in the first half with that goal just before half-time.
Can Manchester City make it a 5-star performance? Running out of time to do so. Dunbar McDonald loses it, hammered away by Pates. Blackburn Rovers led, but ultimately Manchester City have cruised in to an 8th FA Youth Cup final in the last 12 seasons. Valentin Joseph had Blackburn in front early on, but Ryan Makadu's fine individual effort just before half-time, and then second-half goals from Teddy Lamb, Regan Heskey and Oliver Tevenin, with arguably the best of the lot, mean that it is Manchester City who will face the winners of Manchester United versus Crystal Palace at Old Trafford next Friday in the FA Youth Cup final, as City chase their 5th trophy in this storied tournament that draws so much respect from across English football circles. And ultimately, on the balance of play, hard to think that it is not a deserved win for the home team, who take this one by 4-1. Oliver Tevenin in shot there, arguably with the best goal of the bunch on the half volley, as it finishes Manchester City 4, Blackburn Rovers 1.
Thanks once again for all your support this evening. I say to you both, a very pleasant evening.
Let's take a look back at the best bits of this one, starting with Valentin Joseph's 9th goal in the FA Youth Cup this season.
Yeah, excellent composure, and it was after the first time that Blackburn had made a few passes and went direct from Pates at left back. Misjudged header from Drake, and the composure and strength shown from Valentin Joseph here was brilliant, and was really a shot goal against a run of play.
Kept up his record of having scored in every round, but Manchester City had a response not long before half-time. Fine individual goal from Ryan McAdoo.
Yeah, and it's the one time that you had a lapse of concentration from maybe Pates backing up his wide left man in Tyjon, who was coming in to help him, and he'd come inside a load early in the first half but was further back and was crossing them. They allowed him to get in the box, and that's why you don't, because he can punish you.
A nervous moment here for Harry Holt underneath his own crossbar, and it ultimately led to Valentin Joseph conceding a penalty for the foul on Floyd Samba.
Yeah, poor punch from the goalkeeper, Holt. And Floyd Samba, when he is in and round the box, usually puts the ball in the back of net or causes problems, and was a poor penalty here.
Yeah, just too close to Holt. Was waiting for the keeper to move, and great credit to Holt, because by waiting, he caused Samba to be nervous and not take his best spot kick. But Floyd Samba was involved in a more positive sense for Manchester City. With just 5.5 minutes gone after the break, Teddy Lamb tucking in after Floyd Samba had hit the post.
Yeah, lovely pass from McAdoo as well for the on running Floyd Samba. Lovely check back on his left foot, and it just forces his shot in off the post, and then Lamb was first to react.
2-1 became 3-1 thanks to Regan Heskey after Floyd Samba won the penalty. He got injured in the process from the challenge by Leon Kelly-Quinn, an injury that forced him to leave the field a few minutes after, and that meant that Regan Heskey took it instead, and having scored a beautiful curler in the quarter-final, thumped in an emphatic penalty to give them that 2-goal cushion.
Yeah, he deserved the goal tonight, Regan Heskey. That's some outstanding wing play on the left-hand side for Man City. Variation of his wide play was brilliant.
3-1 became 4-1, and arguably this one was the pick of the bunch from Oliver Tevenon. Spinning ball on the half volley that came back after the block from Michael de Candia, and Tevenon said thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most difficult one to get on target. Again, we're talking about Floyd Samba arriving in the box, and that ball spinning. Not only is it on the half volley, it's actually spinning on the edge of the box for Tevenon, who was a threat from the underlaps all night, but managed to keep that ball low and down, and fantastic finish.
So a fantastic night for Manchester City, who come from behind to win this one 4-1 against Blackburn Rovers. Thank you very much for your company wherever you've been across the world for this one. It's Manchester City who are through to the final for the 8th time in the last 12 seasons. It finishes Manchester City 4, Blackburn 1. Good night.